Doorways is an adventure horror game that was recently released on Steam, and I'm not going to beat around the bush with this one, it just wasn't very fun. Throughout the entire experience, I seriously felt like I was beta testing it. Not once during the game did I feel scared. I don't think my heart rate even increased a little at any point. The environments are incredibly bland, and there aren't any monsters at all. There was neither jump scares or environmental horror. Basically just walk from one section to the next, completing some basic puzzles. The second chapter, thankfully, was a little bit less linear than the first. The game is presented in an episodic format. Currently, the first 2 chapters are released, with 2 more on the way. So it is quite literally an unfinished product, and from what I can understand, the next 2 chapters aren't going to be free. You'll have to pay for the next 2 in the future. I don't understand how they can release this as a full product. A lot needs to be done with this game. The way the game handles spawning new objects is a bit annoying. Whenever it wants to change something, like closing a door behind you or removing an obstacle, the game freezes up for about a second and will sometimes fade in and out. It just feels very amateurish and doesn't make for an immersive experience, which I feel is very important in a game like this. There are a few secrets to be found in the form of relics, but they don't seem to do anything. Perhaps they'll do something with them in the future chapters, but I didn't feel all too compelled to go out of my way searching for them. One positive thing I can say about the game is the voice acting for the main character. I feel it was pretty well done for the most part, and the writing was okay as well. But that really is where all the positives end. Everything about the game just felt outdated. With the way your character controls to the pacing of the game, most of the time I felt as though I was playing a first-person platformer as opposed to a horror game. During one section in the second chapter, you need to push gigantic pillars to create platforms to progress further. At this point I was questioning how my character possessed this Herculean strength required to heave these massive stone structures. Not too long ago, he wasn't able to open a door without first flipping 2 switches. I just found the whole scenario to be incredibly silly. Everything up to the end of chapter 2 took me about an hour and a half to complete, which is really short for the $10 price tag. Despite this, I was thankful when it was over. The whole time I was just bored. That's all there is to say about Doorways. It's simply boring and not at all a fun experience. The theming is interesting, but I feel that it really falls short on everything else. It isn't a game I could recommend to anyone. Save yourself the time and money.